This is the cornea, and the cornea is what light enters through, and it protects the eye and bends light to provide focus. After that, it passes through the pupil, which is the purple, and the pupil is a small adjustable opening. The colored muscle that dilates or constricts in response to light intensity or even inner emotions is the iris, which is the blue. And the iris surrounds the pupil and controls its size. The lens is behind the pupil, and it focuses incoming light rays and projects them onto the retina. And the lens is right there. The retina is the thin inner surface of the back of the eyeball, and accommodation is a process by which the eye's lens changes and bends to focus near or far objects on the retina. And this is the retina. Receptor cells gather sensory information from light and activate neighboring cells in the optic nerve, which then sends the information to the brain for processing. The optic nerve contains bundled axons of ganglion cells that hook the retina to the brain. And the optic nerve is right there. The blind spot is a point at which the optic nerve never leaves the eye, creating a blind spot because no receptor cells are located there, and the blind spot is right here. Bipolar cells are specialized cells that connect and transmit information from the eye's photoreceptor cells to the ganglion cells that make up the optic nerve. So this is a close-up of the retina, and the ganglion cells are the green at the top, and the bipolar cells are the red at the bottom. And the ganglion cells receive information from bipolar cells and transmit it to the brain for processing. The photoreceptors in the retina that detect fine detail and color are cones, and the cones are the blue. They are clustered in the fovea, a small depression in the center of the retina where visual activity is the highest, and the fovea is there. And rods are photoreceptors in the retina that enable black and white vision and detect black and white and gray. They are located in the outer regions of the retina and are necessary for peripheral and twilight vision, and the rods are the purple right here. The optic chiasm is a part in the brain where the optic nerve fibers from each eye cross over each other. The visual information originating in the right half of the two retinas is transmitted to the left side of the occipital lobe for processing, and vice versa. So the optic chiasm is if another eye had like these optic nerves and was coming from this way, where they cross and go to the opposite side of the brain is where the optic chiasm would be. The thalamus is where most sensory information first goes and is routed to the appropriate area of the cortex for processing, and it receives input from the retina. The visual cortex is located on the occipital lobe and is part of the cerebral cortex involved in vision, and it's the blue right here, and the green is the occipital lobe. The occipital lobe processes and responds to visual stimuli, and it processes information like color, shape, and motion. Feature detectors are cortical neurons in the brain that respond to specific features of stimulus such as shape, angle, or movement, and it's right here. And the theory that the retina contains 3 different color receptors, one most sensitive to red, sensitive to green, and sensitive to blue, which when stimulated in combination can produce the perception of any color, is called the trichromatic theory. And the theory that opposes retinal processes enable color vision is the opponent process theory. So when using the eye, light waves enter through the cornea, which is right here, which then passes through the pupil, which is right here. And the pupil focuses the incoming light rays and projects them onto the retina, which is the white thing right here. And then cones in the retina detect the fine detail and color when rods enable black and white vision and detect black, white, and gray. The cones and rods are together in the fovea, which is the center of the retina, where visual activity is highest. Photoreceptors are also in the cones and rods. Then bipolar cells connect and transmit information from the photoreceptors to the ganglion cells, which then transmit information to the brain for processing. The optic nerve is activated by the neighboring receptor cells with sensory information and also sends information to the brain for processing. And that is how the eye works.